Robert Training Consultancy. Really lovely to be here today and share what I do. But before I share what I do and how I got here, I thought I should show you where I've been. So, this is me. I was probably about 15 or 16 here. How do I seem? Happy?
No. Yeah, a little bit shy.
What is it? What's giving that away? Body language. What else?
Your eyes.
My eyes. What are my eyes doing?
I don't know, they look a bit sort of worried. Yeah, there's a bit of concern in your face.
You look a bit concerned, don't I? I'm giving you a thumbs up though, so isn't that me telling you I'm okay?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So this was probably when I was at the most mentally unwell in my life, okay? So I was suicidal, I was wearing long sleeves, I had this top in every colour because I was self-harming. I was hating who I was, I hated every part of me. I was somebody that didn't see the value in anything that I did, okay? I thought I was worthless, I wasn't good enough, I couldn't do anything right. If I made a mistake, it was the worst thing ever because it ruined my whole day. So if I made a mistake in this presentation, I would have taken it away and gone, you're stupid, you're worthless, you can't get anything right, you should die, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that. And that happened for a few years, okay? How long do you think people can sustain that level of upset? Not long. So I was somebody that was a shell of a human being. I was confident, I was bubbly, I was someone that could take on a room. But I became someone that would be shaking walking into a room. I'd be looking down, I'd be protecting myself. I wouldn't want to see anyone. I'd be invited to parties, but I'd have to go home quickly because I couldn't sustain what was happening to me. I was paranoid. I was just so completely unwell. I thought the things around me that were happening and it was all my fault. My brain was so warped and it really, really didn't make sense. It was irrational and all I was doing was on a path of self-destruction. I don't know how it happened, in a way. I do. Low self-esteem, bereavement, not looking after myself, thinking I had to be strong all the time. But what we know about mental health is that we need to look after our mental health just like we do our physical health. Do we agree with that? So this individual needed help and she needed help quite quickly, okay? I was probably unwell for quite a few years, but as time went on, it really, really started amplifying to the point where I couldn't function, I couldn't keep myself safe. I wanted to hurt myself, I was angry all the time. So I needed help quickly. Luckily, I got a referral to CAMHS, and that was the part of changing my life, okay? I know CAMHS now, there's a huge waiting list. I was very, very lucky that I was able to be seen quite quickly, probably because of the level of intensity that I was at. Access to CAMHS, that was amazing. They said to me I'd have 6 sessions, but as you know, it was, right, maybe we'll do another 6. And then it was, we're gonna have another 6, and then another 6. So I was there for 9 months. There was a time when they said to me, we're gonna have to think about you coming into hospital. That absolutely terrified me, and I think that was one part of my journey to getting better. Les Brown is a motivational speaker, and he says when you fall in life, if you land on your back and you can look up, you can get up. And that's what I did. Sorry. So that was my journey. So that was years and years ago, about 15 years ago. So that was where I started being passionate about mental health, because I couldn't understand that I was this individual like here, and then I became someone completely different. I just couldn't understand it. So to build on that even further, I then worked in mental health in my life, got a bachelor's in psychology, worked in CAMHS where I was a traitist, that was quite a turnaround for me. I became a mental health education leader in school. I worked for the charity Mind. I volunteered for a multitude of organisations. In terms of helping people who are suicidal, I can't even count how many people that I've helped in that, so I'm quite proud of that. After 4 years working at Mind, in Mind I was everything and anything. If I'm in the charity sector, you don't have one head. You kind of have a multitude of roles. So I was the fundraiser, the mental health trainer, I was in management, I was doing projects, I was doing everything and I loved it. But there was a niggle. There started to be a niggle, and it was, why don't you start your training company? You love what you do, you're good at it, why don't you do it? And that stayed with me for quite a long time. But the reason I didn't do it, fear. Fear got in the way. Am I good enough? Can I do this? Imposter syndrome. Why would people want to listen to me? I have a lot of experience. I'm very passionate about what I do. But doubt gets in the way, doesn't it? And then I fell pregnant. We were very excited about this. We've been trying for 6 years. So I fell pregnant, but then straight away, what do? I want to be safe. I need to stay safe. I can't go and do another job. I can't start my own company when I've just found out pregnant. I wanted safety. Why do we do that? Because we think we need maternity pay. I earn a lot more now than I would have done on maternity pay. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Went to a scan, saw a hole, saw a black nothing, and was told it wasn't successful, which absolutely tore me apart. So, because of what happened to me in the past and because of the skills I've learned now, I really needed to kind of sink or swim, and I chose to swim. So how I turned my pain into power. Tony Robbins, love him. I went on a course by him that absolutely changed my life, Tony Robbins. It was the most I've ever spent on a course, but it was so worth it. I started a podcast, You Do You Hun. So everything that I was scared to do in life, I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. Literally. I was like, when something like that happens to you, you think that's probably one of the worst things that could happen to me. Fuck everything else, I'm doing it. So done the course, started a podcast, and I was like, do you know what, I'm going to do it. So what I was doing in the background when I was working at Mind, was I was building my business. I was thinking about how I'm going to take this on, okay? But then, this is my husband, me and him went on an amazing holiday. We went to Vegas. Go to Vegas. If you
I love Vegas.
It is the best place ever. It's like adult Disneyland. We've always wanted to go, and we was like, let's just do it. It doesn't matter if we've got money or not, let's just book it. We'll go, we'll pay it off, whatever. Went to Vegas, had an amazing time. What happened 5 months after the miscarriage? I fell pregnant. But this was different. The universe he was talking to me about, it was a sign, okay? I knew that as soon as I felt pregnant again, I wasn't letting anything stand in my way. Fell pregnant, and that day I handed in my notice at Mind. So everyone was like, what are you doing? My mum and dad was like, Laura, you're pregnant. Like, you need stability. I was like, no, I'm going to give my child stability, trust me. So I handed in my notice at Mind. Mind were like, what? What are you doing? Like, where has this come from? I was like, look, I need to do this for me. I need to do it for me and my family. So that's what I did. So when I started my company, I was 3 months pregnant. Some of you saw me when I was pregnant. I was 3 months pregnant, so I've basically been pregnant my whole time in my company and had a newborn and a baby the whole time. So I've only been going for a year. So I did have a baby very successfully, and I can't believe I haven't put a picture of him in here because he's bloody gorgeous. So I'll have to show you later. But essentially, it was my time, and I just knew that I was never going to let fear get in the way of me again. I was never going to say to myself, you can't do this, you can't do that, because I can. I'm a powerful, strong woman, I can do whatever I say. So, what is Laura Birch Training Consultancy? Essentially, I go into workplaces and I provide workshops around mental health and wellbeing to teach staff the skills to improve their mental health and minimise stress. For me, I am not a tick box. I'm not going in there to just do it and get paid. I want to make an impact. I want that light bulb moment. I want to see that internal shift inside of you. There's things that I say within my workshops and I can see I've made an impact. And for me, that is the best thing that I can do. And what a satisfying job that I have to be able to do that. I get it all the time. I start saying something, you can see people's faces. They start looking in a different direction. They start hearing it. They start looking differently. That's when I know I've done what I need to do. Why the workplace? Because there are so many individuals that are in the workplaces right now that are really struggling. We spoke about being overwhelmed. A lot of people don't know what to do when mental illness hits. They're scared, they're stuck. A lot of them don't even know to go to a GP or to access counselling. And what counselling? Where do I go? They just feel impacted and they feel scared. But imagine me coming in and talking about the workplace and talking about the fact that we all have bad mental health or good mental health, and the fact that we do have skills and strategies that we do, and it's okay to access support, okay? So that's what I do. I have a variety of workshops, but to be honest, a lot of companies that I work with, they want bespoke workshops, which I love to do. I love going into a company and saying, what do you need? And let's make it, let's create it. A lot of things at the moment are around change. There's so much change in organisations and people are just trying to catch up. So I've got a workshop on navigating change and building resilience, and that's been going down really, really well. I've got things about protect your peace, like you were saying earlier, about being overwhelmed and not being so affected by work, clients, etc. Protect your peace would be a good one. I also provide mental health first aid training. I have a multitude of wellbeing programs and I've delivered training nationally and internationally. And that's the great thing about online, isn't it? You can meet lots of people. And one of my goals was to fly to deliver a workshop, and I did that twice last year while I was pregnant. So I'm quite happy about that. I just thought, you know, you're someone, isn't you? If you fly somewhere, I've made it. So I've done it. So I've flown, I've done it. I just need to work on first class. Right, so why me? Why should you choose me? Why should companies come to me? Because I'm incredibly passionate about mental health and making an impact. There are lots of training companies out there that say, oh yeah, do you know what, we'll do mental health. Yeah, we'll do a mental health workshop. We've got clients now, let's do it. They have no idea about mental health at all. They've had no experience, they've not lived it, they've not breathed it. They're not going to be the best people for the company. I've worked in mental health for over 10 years in the range of organisations that I've shared with you. I've trained over 300 people in mental health first aid. I've worked with corporate companies, charities, councils, the voluntary sector, schools, you name it, I've worked with them. I've got over 5 years experience as a trainer. As I said, I've got my own lived experience of depression, self-harm and suicidal ideation. And I actually think that really helps, because when I am talking, for instance, and I'm doing a suicide awareness presentation, and I start talking about what suicidal thinking feels like, that bully in your head, you can't shake it, people are like, wow, I get it. And you know, it's nice for them to be able to ask questions to someone who's recovered and know, look, like this happens. You know, I was someone that at that time, the height of my illness, I had a job, I was at sixth form, I was doing A-levels, I was on the outside, I would look like I was smashing it, but I wasn't internally. Training isn't a tick box for me, I want to give value, of course. In a recent survey, 100% of people said they would like to attend another session delivered by me. So that's always nice, isn't it? People want to come back. And I do get people coming back to me, so that's always a really, really good thing. I don't know what my time is, so I'm sorry.
You're alright, you got...
So my client said, I'm of course not going to read that out, because it's embarrassing really talking about yourself, but I do get really, really good feedback from the multitude of clients that I work with, and as I said, I do get a lot of clients that do come back to me, so that's always really, really nice to know that you're hitting the nail where it needs to be at. So that is my clients there. I've also developed a 12-month programme. It doesn't look really fancy or exciting there, but I've been showing my clients, and they're really kind of excited about this, because a lot of the companies I work with, they want a workshop, they want another workshop, but actually I want them to have continuity when it comes to mental health, to really start to put mental health on the agenda when it comes to their workplace. So essentially, I've developed a 12-month programme, one workshop every single month, that really teaches staff the skills on how to better their physical, mental and emotional wellness, okay? Because one workshop's great, but let's have several. And actually someone that keeps coming back, who's personable, who you can talk to. For me, when I do training, I get people waiting. And that is where I make even more impact, because people start to open up to me and tell me what they've been experiencing. And I love that. You know, I'm really, really glad that they've got someone to talk to. That's the first start, isn't it? So that's my 12-month programme. So please